You probably already know jazz chords like drop 2, drop 3, Shell-voicings, and these systems are great for learning a vocabulary of jazz chords that you can use, but sometimes you also just want to play some really beautiful voicings that are not coming from a system, but just have a lot of color and sound great, so that you're not making the song boring. And in this video, those are the chords I want to talk about. My name is Jens Larsen, learn jazz, make music. Some of these chord voicings are a little bit of a stretch to play, but I think you'll find that they are actually not that bad and they're definitely worth the effort. Just make sure that you don't start practicing them in the first fret. Move up the neck so it's a little bit easier to play and you don't hurt yourself. The three voicings in this example sound really great together, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're using upper structure triads. So if you play a chord voicing with a lot of extensions, so a lot of notes, then if you have a voicing where the upper part of that voicing is a triad inversion, then it's going to sound a lot more stable and a lot more natural, and that's what I'm using here. For this part of the video, I'm going to focus on the first chord, the A minor 7, and this consists of a C and then a second inversion G major triad. But against the A minor, that gives us a third, an 11th, a 7th, and a 9th. D7 is closely related to the A minor, so it uses the C, but then the triad changes and becomes a first inversion B major triad, which gives us that 13 flat 9 sound. And then I resolve the 2-5 to this G6-9 voicing, which has a B, the third, and an A sus4 as an upper structure. In the first example, I was just playing the voicings as long, sustained chords, and of course that sounds great, you can play them like that, but if I was to use this when I'm actually comping, then I would probably arpeggiate the voicings just to add a little bit more movement and make them a little bit more interesting. That would sound like this. The great thing about the chord voicings that I'm covering in this video is that they actually work for several different chords, and this A minor voicing is no exception, because you can also use this as a major 7 voicing without a third, and that would sound something like this. This is a 2-5-1 in the key of C major with a tritone substitution, so a D flat 7 instead of the G7. And I'm starting with this D minor 7 voicing. Then I'm moving to this D flat 7 with a 9 and a 13. And then finally resolving that to this C major 7 voicing without a third. So what we have in there is like a root, the 9th, the 5th, and the 7th. This vamp is using a really beautiful C major 7 voicing with a 9 and a 13. So the notes that we have here would be the 7th, the 9th, the 3rd, and then the 13 on top. And I'm playing this voicing in a vamp where I'm alternating between this C major 7 and then the backdoor dominant in the key, so a B flat 7 with also a 13 and a 9th. Notice that I'm actually using the same voicing as what I used for a G6-9 in the first example. So this is already an example of how a voicing will work for several different chords. The 13 flat 9 dominant sound is one of my favorites, and it's probably because it's this mix of unaltered with the 13 and then altered with the flat 9 that just makes it a little bit mysterious, but still also just a really rich sound. Here I'm using it on a 2-5-1 in the key of F major, and I'm combining it with a G minor 11 chord and an F major 7 with a 9 and a 13. One of the reasons why this voicing works so well and sounds so stable is that it's using an upper structure triad. So we have a first inversion A major triad on top of the C7 voicing here. And I think the fact that we have this sort of really stable major triad on top, even though it's creating some tension with the rest of the chord below it, is really making it just really a strong, beautiful sound. This voicing you can see is coming out of the diminished scale, and that means of course if you're using it, you could move it around in minor thirds. But it also means that you can sometimes use it for a diminished chord, even though it's maybe a diminished chord that actually doesn't use the diminished scale. So an example of that could be the melody of The Song Is You. In this context, the voicing becomes a diminished chord with an added flat 6, which of course works really well because that's the melody note that we also need for the song. You're probably already using this set of notes in different voicings, but playing the major 7 flat 5 voicing really as just the root position, major 7 flat 5, is a great sort of very compact sound, and it's kind of Herbie Hancock-like. I think he uses this quite a lot. With this example, then you can also hear how you can actually do so many things with this type of voicing. So that's also well worth exploring, which is of course also why I've made other videos on it. Here I'm using the Magic Chord or the major 7 flat 5 voicing for the altered dominant, so for the F7. And the way I do that is that I play that from the third of the chord, so I play A major 7 flat 5, and that gives me third, flat 13, flat 7, and sharp 9. And in the context I'm using it together with this C minor 11 13, moving into the dominant, and then resolving to this thirdless B flat major 7 with a 9. In this example, I'm using the Magic Chord or the major 7 flat 5 voicing for both the 2 chord in a minor 2-5 and also the tonic chord in the minor 2-5. Here I'm first using a C major 7 flat 5 for the F sharp half diminished. So that's giving me an F sharp half diminished with an 11 and actually no third. From there I move into a B7 with a flat 9 and a 13, so it's sort of a variation on the upper structure triad here because I just use a different inversion of the A flat upper structure. And then resolve that to first this drop 2 version of a G major 7 flat 5, which in fact becomes a G minor 6 9, so the third, the 6th, the 9th, and then the 5th. And then I move that down to this root position Magic Chord. The dominant 7 sharp 5 is a really great voicing for a lot of melodic minor sounds, and that's also how I'm using it here in this example, where I'm using it on a minor 2-5 and then on the 2 chord to get this minor 7 flat 5 with a natural 9 sound. And it works really well also with the inversions like I'm using it here, and you can put it to use as a tonic minor as well to get some great results. That sounds like this. Now that you have some great sounding chords with lots of extensions and colors that you can get into your playing, then it makes sense to take the next step and start working with changing the chord progressions, because you can create really beautiful chord progressions by reharmonizing what is already there. And if you want to check out how to do that, then check out this video where I'm covering how I use functional harmony as a method for creating some really beautiful progressions.